A little bit of a history episode. Said some good things about cryptovoxels. Talked about Matt Cain's Etch project, and of course, shouted out the Rizzle himself. He had a birthday this week, 1 year older, and we're reminiscing a little bit about the Rizzle block and the lore and legend that's been growing around that. Shout out to Brocock too for putting together some amazing V3 Rizzle block gifts for folks this week as well. So with that, I'll shut my mouth and hopefully Rizzle's dressed by now so we can get this hype train rolling for this week. So Rizzle dude, you ready? Dressed, fully clothed, not naked anymore? There we go.
Thank you for stalling. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, loud and clear, dude.
Yes, we're in the Gotchiverse this week. We've been and awesome to be able to. They just released their observer. I'm not sure how to say it. Feature so that everybody can hop in, and it'll be dope. Jesse Golden Cross, who really helped us arrange this a ton, is seemingly lost in his own Gotchiverse. So someone will help him get to his own world so that he can show us around at some point. But fear not, we break stuff and get lost all the time. We'll eventually find each other, and it will be awesome. So let's see. I have some quick shills from Fabiano and Patrizia, who have been huge supporter of ours and are part of the giveaways later on. Let me see. I got to drop some images in here. Fabiano's got this new drop coming up. Just want to make you guys aware of this. I'm going to drop this banner and a link to his drop in here. Oh, we got a direct link to the Gotchiverse too. Oh, that's not the link. Hang on one sec. Let me grab this link from Fabiano. I also got one from his wife, Patrizia, who actually created the wearable that we're getting later today. She did her first ever known origin drop, I think yesterday. So, and there's an addition of 9. So, part of the WIP crew, part of the fam. They've been a huge supporter of ours. If you can support their art, support their art, support the fam. And, they've been giving us free stuff like every week now. So just trying to show them some love and get them a shill out there for their stuff. Let's see what else I got. Obviously, big shout out to the Gotchi gang and Golden Cross for hosting us in the Gotchiverse, uncharted territory for the WIP crew and the WIP fam. I know a lot of us have Aavegotchis and have been in there before doing things, but we've never actually taken a group trip together to the Gotchiverse. So this is cool. And actually, I have some questions as well that I'm hoping to get a handle on. So it'll be cool to get a firsthand tour from the crew themselves of the Gotchiverse. So definitely looking forward to that. After that, we're going to pass the mic over to Toxam and hop in for some alpha with the Crypto Avatars team to see what they're cooking up. I believe in here, probably in the Gotchiverse, and maybe we'll do 2 group shots depending on how this shakes out, but definitely want to get a group shot in the Gotchiverse with Paradox before we hop over to Toxam's spot. Once we wrap up all of that, we'll do a little bit of Q&A in between each part with Show. We'll pass the mic over to him for the afties while we hop over to Fabiano's plot where the wearables for today are already staged. Sandy's is all set up along with Patrizia's. So we got some free stuff to claim at the very end here. So there's a lot going on. You have to be paying very close attention. We're going to be in like many different worlds today, dropping like all sorts of links. People will get lost. Stuff will break. It will be chaos, but it'll be really fun. So definitely hang out. And if you're missing a link or can't find us, don't be afraid to drop it in the chat here. We will find you somehow, somewhere. Let's see. I think that's about it for this week. I can keep it pretty brief now. Stoked to get on with the show. We'll be back next week with a banger from Patio and the Rare Pepe crew. So that will be dope. Definitely come around for that. And that'll be our last WIP for the holidays until we come back in the new year. So stick around this week, come back next week, and we'll go out with a bang in 2022. Let's see. Anything else? I don't think so. We're broke, in case you don't know. I say this every week. Every now and again, people throw us some money. In theory, we're going to throw that at the crew. We got to figure out where it went. But Matt will not rug you. We don't have that much anyways. So if you want to donate to the WIPmeetup.eth, all that money goes directly to the crew somehow, some way. If you want to, throw us some money. if you don't feel sketched out about sending it to that .eth address, yeah, send it to Matt. He promises he won't rug you. It's like right there in the Discord chat. I'm sure he's legit. Also, if you want to give stuff away, we always give stuff away and love giving stuff away, and our audience loves free stuff. So we will shamelessly give away your free stuff to our people, and we can do that too. I think that's everything now. Big shout out to the crew who makes this happen week in, week out. Danny Meows, it's Carolina Duh, Fox Yoga, Easy, Paradox, Show, Dragonate, Conwolf the Stowaway, Brookhawk the Chef, Fabiano, Patrizia. And, you know, I noticed for some reason Johan has not been included in like the crew list that I rant off every week, and certainly deserves to be, the way he stepped in here with Meme Explorers and given us a cool home. And Matthias, both deserve to be on the WIP crew list, so we should knight them as well and just add them to the pile here of incredible supporters. And it's honestly hard not to include so many of the fam who are in here week in, week out supporting us as well. So I don't know. There's a lot of gray area. There's a lot of overlap, but we love you all and couldn't make this happen without any of you here. So thank you all very, very much. In case anyone is lost or needs instructions anyway, this will get repeated a couple times. Yeah, right. Fly Frogs is up in here like constantly. Actually, we're going to be back with a banger of a whip on January 5th with Fly Frogs. So everyone gets knighted today. We'll just call it like that. If someone doesn't mind dropping a link to the Gotchi verse in here, I'm going to try and give a brief intro on how to get in there now, and then I'll pass it over to their crew and they can sort of reiterate and get us all in here. But basically what's happening is we're going to go on a tour of the Gotchiverse here. They got a cool parcel lined up and some things to show us. So if you click that link into the Gotchiverse, if you don't have an Aavegotchi, you can enter as an observer. And then once you actually hit enter to go in, if you scroll down into the locations, yes, there's WIP part 1, actually. So it's possible that I'm in the wrong spot. So anyway, while all y'all try and figure out what I just said and I try to figure out where I am, I'm going to, look at this. Very fancy. I'm very impressed with the banner whipped up here. Start at WIP number 1. So there you go. So click that link, either get your Aavegotchi ready, sign in as observer, and go to WIP Hangout Gate number 1. And while everyone's getting lost and muddling around, I'm going to try and do the same thing and pass the mic over to Jesse, aka Golden Cross, to tell us a little bit about what's going on here as we pile in, and we'll get this thing going.
Awesome. Thanks for having us, Rizzle, and everybody at the WIP. It's awesome to be here, and kind of a bit of a homecoming for me. I've come and observed, as we're saying, observers today, quite a few WIPs over the years, and it's been a long time since I've been on stage, though. So pretty excited to be here, and we've got a lot of Gotchi gang in the house because, we're excited to have you guys and show you what we've been building. It is the WIP, after all. And it's really what Aavegotchi is all about, is a work in progress where for the last 2.5 years we've been building out and just stacking on top of what we started with the original Aavegotchi NFT. And so really quick backstory: if you're in the Gotchiverse right now, you want to go to WIP number 1. That's where we're kind of all gathering, and you can see where we're at. If you're not there, like Rizzle, I think you're in number 3, right? A lot of people are in number 3. You can walk around a little bit if you're at number 3. Go to the northeasterly corner of that parcel. You'll see this really cool installation. It's like a 3D Aavegotchi jumping on a magical, trippy trampoline. That's called a bounce gate. And when you see a bounce gate in the Gotchiverse, you walk up to it and just click and it's going to let you basically bounce to another part of the Gotchiverse. Like any other event that's being hosted in the Gotchiverse, you're able to interact with that and just you don't have to log out and log back in. That's the that's the old school way to do it. But if you find a Gotchi bounce gate, then you can just bounce around the universe together. But yeah, there's a ton of you guys here at WIP number 1 parcel. So when you look around, you'll notice right away, it's a very different type of metaverse in the sense that it's a 2D browser-based, top-down kind of open metaverse we're going for. And then at the same time, it's a bit of an RPG. Like we call it a DeFi RPG because uh, really what we're building together here is a DAO built game that offers you can like either just chill and do social mode and art mode. You can also do the farming games, on-chain kind of DeFi games. And pretty soon, a little alpha, we're going to be doing a stress test with the community later today, like within the next 12 hours. And it's going to run for 3 days where we're stress testing the first PvP kind of battle mode. And we call that the arena. And so the reason I say stress test is like that's one of the defining aspects here with Aavegotchi, as everything is built together as a community. We're a DAO first. So Aavegotchi DAO launched, 2.5 years ago, and everything we do together. So I'm with a team called Pixelcraft Studios. That's a team of about 30 of us building out the core metaverse Gotchiverse flagship game. But that is couldn't be done without the Gotchi DAO, which does so much more, and really actually gets to have a direct impact on what we build and what we prioritize. So it's been really, really cool to see all this come together over the last couple of years. This Gotchiverse has been live since June, and to illustrate just how much it's different than a typical game development cycle, we launched it in June as like a bare bones kind of back end that could support a few hundred players together. We were stress testing it every weekend as a community, and then in June the farming game went live. And there's these raw elements of the world. This is more the RPG side, called Alchemica. And if you look in your corner while you're logged in, you'll see a little iron. That is your forgery. That's your crafting table. And you'll see when you click on it, you'll see 4 different types of tokens there. Those are actually on-chain game assets that you can use and arrange in your recipe book to craft all sorts of rare NFTs. So you don't just mint your NFTs, you craft your NFTs. And this week we're crafting some holiday decorations and things like that. But back in June, we could support a few hundred people. Now we have really achieved what we set out to do with our team at Pixelcraft, and we can do support over 10,000 players on one instance playing this game. So we can like have a lot of Aavegotchis and observers hanging out all in one instance. So I know I'm not sure about CryptoVoxels anymore, but when you go to like Decentraland or something, they'll typically break you up into regional servers, right? In this case, that it all gets synced together globally, instantly, no lag. We're all playing the same game at the same time. So no matter where you are in the world, we're all going to be able to meet in the Gotchiverse. So we can take a little walk around together. If you're on screen with me, I'm the bald Aavegotchi. I think my combination of wearables my beard one has made me appear as the only bald Aavegotchi in the game. Let's take a little parade here and walk around, and we can see some of the different stuff of the Gotchiverse. So one thing you'll notice is it's like a translucent kind of outer space type of backdrop. We call this the realm. This is there's a lot of lore and backstory to all of this and how the Aavegotchis came to be. Over here where I'm walking now, you'll see an empty parcel. This is pretty much an empty parcel. The only thing it has is one installation, which is your starter, your cornerstone. It's called an altar. And so you could get a parcel, and then you'd install this altar, and you would be able to basically start doing channeling. Like you would be able to start earning some of those Alchemica, so you could start crafting just by virtue of having this magical altar every day that you go and do a little Gotchi prayer at. So it's like a really fun, lighthearted kind of Gotchi UBI. And then let's keep going in a little bit of a circle here. And Hefe maybe is in the chat here. Somebody could give some backstory in the chat about whose parcel we're on right now. Is this GMI's parcel? We have a lot of guilds that play the Gotchiverse.
Hey.
Yeah. Hey, Hefe.
Hey, yeah. This is the OXZ5's parcel.
Oh, okay.
I'm kind of doubling
How are you
over
able to
myself.
tell who owns which parcel? Sorry. Like, is there a way for us to click on and see?
here, and it's kind of cool to see that.
Work with him. I think Hefe's got his Discord still muted.
Okay, yeah,
down.
no, I had my lines crossed. My bad.
Definitely GMI.
All right, so here we go. I'm gonna interact with this bounce gate, and we should be able to change venues. You'll see it pop up. It'll say more events. Click that, and let's go to, I guess, WIP number 2, huh? And boom, I'm pretty much instantly at WIP number 2. Let's see how many of you guys can follow me to this new parcel. I see quite a few people coming through. Oh yeah, a lot of observers. You know, for us guys, this is really exciting because we don't see a lot of observers unless there's a special event like this. So glad to see the cute little observers getting put to use. And just so people know, if you the main difference is an observer can craft, can build, can enjoy, but they cannot pick up alchemica. Now today, there's not a lot of alchemica spilling into the universe, but on certain events like our Saturday hangouts, everybody's channeling, and you'll see a lot of what we call spillover, where alchemica is like spilling all over the map. It's like Pac-Man on acid. It's absolutely crazy. And observers would not be able to pick that stuff up. So that's the one difference. The good news is, even if you don't have an Aavegotchi, one of the big things we shipped this past year was some new smart contracts called for Gotchi lending, and it's basically on-chain NFT lending that's like curated and just white glove made for the Gotchiverse and Aavegotchi assets. So you're able to basically like P2P share your Aavegotchi for basically free, let other people play with your Aavegotchi and earn that alchemica, and then it does an on-chain split of the alchemica earned between the two, the owner and the person who spent the day playing with the Aavegotchi. So you can borrow an Aavegotchi for usually free or virtually free. And that's just really scratching the surface. I love that Hefe brought up the fake gotchis. I think that's something that we all want to tour around here while we're in the parcel and see. It's one of the latest things we shipped in the last month. Fakegotchi.com went live. Fakegotchis.com went live. And it's really a cool concept in that we did a couple things we've been wanting to do when we look around the space. And one is like dual streaming royalties. So again, we took what we learned with the lending and we applied it to royalties. So when you create a Fakegotchi, you can actually have two wallets entered, one for the publisher and one for the artist. And Rizzle, you actually had firsthand experience with this because you were able to collaborate with an artist and create a Fakegotchi. And the way it works long term is you can actually set a customized royalty split between the two parties. So it can be like 4%, 3% to 1, 2 and 2. You can do all of that with the royalty setting, and it's hardwired for eternity. Everything's running on Polygon, so fees are minimal, and we're able to have some pretty cool smart contracts that are versatile like that. So these pieces are also, when you stand on top of one in the Gotchiverse, a lot of them say not for sale, but if they were listed in our NFT marketplace, you would actually be able to, if you wanted to, you could purchase that piece right there from the Gotchiverse. And we're going to be shipping a few more updates to make that even more like what we see with galleries in real life, and how it could work here in the Gotchiverse. So really happy with the way the fakes have been going, and just seeing the community be able to explode with their creativity and contribute to the lore and the backstory of Aavegotchi. So it's like official canon when you create a fake gachi. And so it's super, super cool what we've been seeing the last few weeks. And there's 2,500 cards total. Every time you burn a card, it's your publishing rights. It's tokenized publishing rights. And so if you ever want to make a fake gachi, just reach out to Gachi Gang and they'll either sponsor you with one of their cards, or you can, go to the market and pick up a card for yourself and create your own fake gachi. We would love to see more cross-platform collaborations and merging of different IP with the Aavegotchis. So should we keep it moving and see the third whip? Are you guys getting used to the bounce gates? Okay, if we are, I haven't found the bounce gate here, but let's bounce to the third and final parcel if we can. And you guys can follow me around. We're all walking around looking for the bounce gate. If you hold shift, you can run.
Yeah.
All that good stuff.
Bounce gate is to the north.
Okay, we're crossing the road here. Yeah, you can get a sense. There's some parcels here with a lot of like what we call mosaic tiles, and you can get a sense of the creativity of how you can customize your parcel to make it yours. These are everything you see in the universe is made with the crafting table. So one of the concepts is over time, like this starts as a desert, right? In June, it was a total desert. And over the last 6 months, we've seen all these different items crafted in the crafting table that are NFTs. They're all 1155 NFTs. And we're able to start populating the world. And so literally between now and if we come back 6 months from now or a year from now, we'll see a even more filled in world with more objects, more assets, more user created content. Okay, guys, I'm totally lost looking for a bounce gate, but Hefe, could you lead some people to the third parcel and tell us where we're going?
Yeah. Use that filter option in the bounce gates there too. Just type in WIP lowercase in that top search box, and it'll pull the 3 WIP gates for you real quick. We're all at WIP 3 right now.
Is that Mycalium I hear? How you doing, Mycalium? What are we missing about the Gotchiverse that we haven't touched on?
So many things, man. For me, if anything, it's the community aspect. Our consistent community events. We have a weekend hangout every single Saturday for 2 hours with the whole crew. We do a lot of community events. We do a lot of fun stuff amongst each other. There's a lot of guilds, a lot of small little subset guilds that are forming up to kind of find common interests and align themselves. And so there's always some place for everybody in the Gotchiverse.
Yeah, I think the DAO aspect is a big part of the stickiness to that. Everybody gets to come together and have a direct impact on the game development. So yeah, there's just so many reasons to be a part of it, and so it's a very open door. Everybody's welcome to come through, learn more, borrow a gachi, join a Saturday hangout is a great way to really dig in, and we're constantly. We haven't even talked about our GBM auctions, which are super innovative. We just launched bid to earn auctions where if you have a fake gachi and you want to auction it, you can. And, in the past, we've used this for NFT drops with Aavegotchi assets, but now it's open source where anybody can start their own auction anytime. And the way they work is, let's say we want to bid on a piece here on the parcel we're on. I see a sus cacti, this really cool parcel piece here. So if I wanted to bid on that and the auction was live and I bid 100 ghost token, our native token, and then Mycalium comes through and he bids 150, in a normal English auction, that'd be the end. I go home, I didn't win the NFT. But with the team we partnered up with, GBM, what they do is they have this subset of smart contracts where instead you commit your capital in real time. So I bid 100, then I lost. I got outbid. A portion of that 150 Mycalium beat me with will actually go direct to my wallet. So I get my 100 refunded back to me. Plus, I get another thank you for playing. Thank you for contributing to price discovery kind of payout. And so literally the slogan is everybody wins, because anyone who participates in a GBM auction either goes home with more than what they showed up with, or they go home with the NFT. And it's been a really great way to energize and bring everybody together in the same time and space to, have some price discovery or to distribute various assets in the game. And so those just went live last week, where now anybody can launch their own auction anytime. And so we're having a blast over at fakeagotchis.com, and in the Discord, people are constantly, sharing what auctions are coming up, and you can do a 3-hour auction, you can do a 3-day auction. There's a wide range of options there. But if you've never been part of a bid to earn GBM auction, that alone, I'd say, is one of the best reasons to come through, check it out, and have a really cool on-chain experience. Because at the end of the day, that's really Aavegotchi gang in a nutshell. We're just obsessed with anything that we can do on-chain. We're always looking at building, crypto games in crypto ways. And if we can have an experience that isn't possible without smart contracts, then we're interested in having that experience and seeing what we can do with it. That's kind of the whole starting premise for anything we invest our energy in, is like, is this going to be a good time? And is it something that isn't redundant and just, redoing TradFi Web 2 stuff with a new layer? So I think we're at about time, though, so I don't want to ramble too far. And I'm just going to continue walking around, checking out Parcel 3. I see some fire NFTs here on display. But I'll pass the mic back to Rizzle, and happy to take any questions, or we can or we go to the next phase of the WIP meet.
Yeah. Let's get some questions. And I know after the questions, since we're hanging out in this super dank parcel, we probably want to get Paradox in here to do a pretty cool, like really different group shot to commemorate this event before we head over to HyperFi with the Crypto Avatars folks. So first order operations, let's get Show yelling at you, asking questions, and then right after that, we'll get Paradox on here to do the group shot. That's cool.
Nice.
Hey team, what's going on?
Hello.
Hey, yeah, so everyone who's part of the team, you can unmute your microphones and you can all feel free to answer. Okay. Oh, and also, by the way, Mycalium, I was only sharing that copy just for the event. So like, if you have a question in the future for the team, please feel free to ping him and message him later on down the line. Just for the sake of the event, you can feel free to ping me. All right, just so there's no confusion there. Okay, all good. All right, so first question is from Rizzle. He would like to know, I found these randomly last week falling from the sky. How do I claim them? So I guess this is in regards to the elements that were shared. I guess they were raining. Thank you for the screenshot. Team, can you provide any clarity on what this is?
Rizzle's got a good amount of FOMO there. So the green one is called FUD. The red one is called FOMO. The blue is Alpha. And the purple one at the bottom is Keck. And that's the rarest of the 4. So FUD, as we all know in life, is way too common. And that's why that one's aptly named FUD. It's the most common of the 4 Alchemica. And what you need to do, Rizzle, is you're accumulating a good amount of Alchemica there. You would want to go eventually. I think you can hold 100. Well, you see your limit is 250. So you're going to fill your bag at some point, and you're going to want to find what we call a vortex. It looks like a little black hole spinning in the universe on certain parcels, and they're on the map. They're indicated on the map with like those really bright nodes you kind of see all along the map. Those represent the vortexes. You go to a vortex, you interact with it, and you can at that point basically empty your bag, and it will actually go to your wallet. You will mint 75.1 FUD into your on-chain wallet at that point, and in the form of a ERC20 token standard. So it's really cool. You're literally like minting Alchemica anytime you go to these cosmic black holes called we call them vortexes. So Rizzle's on his way to a vortex.
That's cool. So This is a perfect segue into my first question. So there seems to be a lot of incentive just from being within the Gotchiverse. Even as an observer, you're able to do sandbox-like things without fully committing to spending money, and you can also receive things without spending money. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can. When we first launched in June, we called it the play drop, and it's the most fair distribution of a way to kickstart a game that we could think of. In that these Alchemica tokens, you literally there was no like, oh, they're the founders allocation and there's some for VCs. There's nothing like that. It was like it's a smart contract, and they're just the raw elements of this game. And guess what? If you come and play in the game, you're going to farm these elements and be able to use the elements to reinvest it into the game and create these really cool installations throughout, and like bring the world to life. We're literally summoning a metaverse here together. And so yeah, it was called the play drop. You could only get it by playing the game. And now that remains still the case. It's there's no other inflation mechanism other than players playing the game. So you come in on a Saturday, you're going to get a bunch of free Alchemica if you by just virtue of hanging out with farmers. Because when the farmers, we have this really cool thing called spillover, where when you farm a certain percent of what you farm, it's kind of like Clash of Clans, except when you farm it, it literally spills over into the universe. So you don't get to keep it all. It's we want to incentivize sharing, and everybody wins, and like bring everybody together. So even the farmers are sharing their success, and so they're upgrading their farm equipment and doing that. And all that does is help them farm more Alchemica faster, but they still have the spillover. And right now, it's literally just Saturdays, 2 p.m. UTC, for 2 hours, every Saturday for 2 hours, where we get together and we do our farming, and we do special guests and hosts and educational events, and we spotlight. It's kind of like the WIP. We spotlight a lot of the builders in the Gotchiverse, because there's what I'm doing at Pixelcraft, but there's also like other Aavegotchi games that are being built all the time. And I hope over we'll see more examples now that we've been live a few months. Some of these games that are being built by others, like Gotchi Miners, and there's many of them, they might start using the Alchemica and the game assets in new ways. So yeah, to answer your question, you can definitely play for free and win together and just have a good time. It doesn't have to be an expensive thing, like getting the observers, or getting borrowing an Aavegotchi for a week for like one Matic token. Like that's the kind of stuff we like.
It's funny that you mentioned that utility in regards to borrowing an Aavegotchi for at a very cheap premium. And also, anyone else, please feel free to unmute as well and add some information to this. But it seems like, well, it seemed to me that Aavegotchi was a thing that's been around for a really long time in the space, and we've had various different people working on it and adding utility and things like that. People were even speculating on portals, if I remember correctly, last year. During this current crypto winter, um, what is the best tactic, I guess, in regards to pulling people into this project and really seeing all the gold, or quote unquote alchemica that you're generating? Instead of saying the word value, I would say the alchemica, since it's your term. What would you say is the tactic or tactics that you're using in order to establish some form of onboarding?
Yeah, we're just being really consistent with our goals, and trying to create stuff that the community, we all kind of have a consensus on wanting to dedicate our energy to. We kind of surprised everybody a few months ago when we revealed the Fake Gotchis initiative. So that was one we kind of cooked up in-house at Pixelcraft, and really wanted to, we felt strongly it'd be a good thing for the community. And the reason was, after 2 years, we've seen like so many talented people in the community that love the project, love Aavegotchi, and they were expressing themselves with all sorts of fan art. And then you start to see collections on OpenSea, or more recently Lens, which is a really cool network by itself. But we saw the creative energy there, and there was just nowhere to bring it together and kind of canonize it. And so we said, look, we should we have some ideas about how to make a really cool art platform. And with the fake gotchis, we want to give a target for everybody's creative energy to go towards. And that kind of stuff doesn't care if it's a bear market, you know. It might be better that we're in technically a bear market, because nobody's focused on chasing the next pump or whatever's going on in wider crypto. Instead, it's like we're building out really, really cool mechanisms with smart contracts, and we're also, you know, seeing artists step up in big, big ways. And the reason we introduced those dual streaming royalties was because we knew we were going to distribute the publishing rights cards, the fake gotchi cards, to majority to our community, but not everybody in the community is an artist. So it was kind of like a solution for a problem we saw, where it's like we want to do fair distribution to everybody through a raffle and taking care of your Aavegotchi, but you may not be an artist. And then you get this card. What do you do? So with the dual streaming royalties, like, it didn't matter if it's a bear market, you get a card, and then you're incentivized to reach out and collaborate with an artist in your life or somebody you know in the space that's talented, or somebody else in the community. And so we just wanted to, you know, do things like that to onboard. I think fake gotchis they've already been a very successful onboarding mechanism for people that maybe are not quite sure if they want to jump into a metaverse full time or do a DeFi RPG necessarily, but they can vibe with really good art or something along those lines, and or get excited about some of the smart contract initiatives we've done there. So yeah, fakes have been really, you know, just taking on a life of their own.
That's cool. Are Pixelcraft and Aavegotchi and the Gotchiverse as a whole associated at all with Aavegotchi still? Was there a split at some point, or are you connected to what's going on with Lens? I mean, me personally, sorry, this is a little a side note, but I have a beef with Lens because they're not giving me my Lens profile. I don't know. So I have a little personal beef, but that's aside from your question. But I just want to know, are you associated at all with Aave in any possible way?
Sure. So a little bit about the origins and where we are now. And real quick on that Lens, I know they do. They're in beta, so they have some like, you know, you got to get on a certain list or something to get your account put in. Talk to the Gotchi gang. If you had an Aavegotchi at a certain window, I don't know if this is still the case, everybody with an Aavegotchi was able to open their Lens account. So that was definitely another good reason to have an Aavegotchi. And if you had an Aavegotchi, it sounds like you might try going through that and figuring out. But it sounds like Mike Calliam can answer all your questions with that. He's very hands-on with Lens, and so we'll get it taken care of. But the short story on the origins is Coder Dan and I had built out BullionX. That was one of the projects we worked on. We created that back, I don't know, 2.5 years ago, brought it to the WIP. And we were experimenting with some pretty cool stuff about wrapping cryptocurrency around an NFT. And we wanted to do that with Aave tokens. So we took it to Stanny and the guys at Aave, and they really liked it, gave us a very small grant. I won't say small, but it was enough to get things started, get some concept art. And then it ran from there. So our relationship with Aave is they're supportive. They helped us out in a huge way early on, and we're all still best friends. And then at that time, we basically created Pixelcraft Studios to facilitate the development of the project, and then the bonding curve for the GHST token for the DAO. So it was literally like a DAO day one. And while the DAO was finding its legs, then Pixelcraft is more like a traditional dev studio to do the bidding of the DAO. And the DAO has its own roadmap over the next 3 years. It is assuming more and more responsibility from Pixelcraft. So there's things like Pixelcraft, there was no legal entity for the DAO. So Pixelcraft holds the IP for Aavegotchi. Like the actual Aavegotchi, we've had to spend so much lawyer fees on just protecting the Aavegotchi trademarks and stuff like that. Eventually, I would love for the Aavegotchi DAO to find its entity in like trad world where it could actually have a foundation that could take on the IP and things like that. And we're working our way towards that right now. The DAO is kind of in phase 1.5 of 3 on their roadmap. And they'll be at phase 2 as soon as they get that foundation and everything set up, which there's literally an election going on right now. We have a DAO election happening. And I am hoping we'll see that resolved before the new year. And we'll have a foundation basically, but they'll be filing paperwork to take that next step with the DAO. And so, yeah, over time, more and more, the DAO just continues to take on more responsibility that Pixelcraft doesn't have to. And that's great for us because then Pixelcraft can focus on just building the Gotchiverse and building out other products like fake Gotchis. We just love to ship great, experiences in Web3.
That's cool. And lastly, is what's the UX UI experience? I mean, sorry, that was a little redundant. What's the experience like on mobile? Is there a mobile component to Gotchiverse?
That is something we want to invest more in 2023. Maybe even a mobile app. All those things are on the table. But right now, it technically kind of works. Somebody could help me out. I think you can go in the Gotchiverse on like a tablet, but it's not really like designed or optimized for that. So, I think there are workarounds and ways to do it, special browsers, extensions, but generally it's still ideal to use a laptop to enjoy the Gotchiverse at this point. But yeah, I'd love to get the mobile version up and running here soon. Especially, one other thing, the thing that Pixelcraft really wants to spend the next couple months on is you guys got to come and check out the arena. In terms of something I'm personally excited about is it's got to be the arena, and that we're envisioning like a kind of brawler with a crypto twist. And like, here's one example of how, and I'll leave with this, is like, imagine how could you make it more crypto? Well, with crypto, like there's always some sort of transaction, right? There's always some financial aspect to everything, but we're doing a brawler. So what if the audience, imagine all us Aavegotchis together today, got to go in the grandstands of the Coliseum and watch the combatants compete, right? And maybe it's a free-for-all battle, whatever. But we could contribute to the chaos from the grandstands by actually tossing Alchemica and crafting items and minting NFTs on the fly and throwing them into the Coliseum floor, so people will compete and then be distracted by either like something very valuable, or maybe we could even like start spawning monsters and different things to so it's like you might have, it's like the audience at a soccer or football match, like they're so passionate, and you might have team blue and team purple, and they're like crafting and minting and doing all these on-chain transactions to affect the combatants in the middle of the floor. And so we're going to have some pretty cool stuff to show on that. But at a high level, that's kind of some of the unique aspects that we're going to experiment with this arena. And like I said, there's going to be a 3-day stress test starting 12 hours from now. If anybody wants to come through and just check it out, it's going to be the very first time anybody's ever kind of played with the arena in the wild. It's definitely going to be 0.001 version.
Amazing. I know there's a few more questions from the audience. If possible, just try to tag Golden Cross or another member of the Gotcha team. We got to get the commemorative shot done, and then we got to get to crypto avatars before time runs up for us on the WIP today. All the questions were everything I wanted to know too, and some more. So just want to give a shout out to Jesse and the whole Gotcha gang. Thank you so much for taking us around here, and let's take a commemorative shot so we never forget this. This is an amazing tour.
Awesome. I think we're all at
I'm gonna do a quick
right?
little. Yeah, Whip 3 still.
Paradox,
Nice.
what do
Smile for the-
you
Okay, firstly, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Test. Excellent. Quickly, Dragonate, hit it, please. Is he sleeping? Dragonate sleeping.
Oh no.
Come on, Dragonite, I believe in you. This is where he's frantically going through his files looking for the audio. I'm not singing Rizzle, I'm sorry.
Just
Okay.
a humble cameraman looking for a little bit of attention.
Yes. All right, cool. Let's assume no.
Key part of the
Any more for any more? All right, cool. Let's assume no no intro right now. Better? No? Here we go. Go, Dragonite, go! Tell me if you can't do it. I'm going to give you 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And right, I'm calling it. Okay, cool. Right, let's start again. So I am Paradox. I'm the resident WIP videographer. Now is the time of the show where we take a group photo and I collect some video. I edit together a recap video of these events every week, and you can watch this week's video on Rizzle's Twitter probably sometime early next week, something like that. But yeah, okay. So most people seem to be gathered in the parcel or in the world, in its WIP free area. I'm led to believe. If you are on the edges of this area, please come into the middle. And I'm going to give you a really simple task this week. What I want everyone to do is to just look to the bottom left of your screen, and you should see a chat function. I want everybody to type WIP 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 3 times. And let's see. Let's just give it a quick practice one. I'm seeing lots of dots. Here we go. Okay, right. So, Dragonite, if you have any music queued, this is a great time. If not, I'm going to count to 5, and then I'm going to click record. Let's try. No, it's no music. Okay, right. Okay, let's try. WIP, WIP, WIP. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's quite a lot of whips. Keep them going. Excellent. That is lots and lots. Perfect. Right. Well, that is everything I need from today. So I'm going to see you all next week. Cheers,
You
guys.
made that easy.
Paradox out. Cheers, guys.
Boom, there we go. And I know we all sung the Paradox song in our heads. At least I did. So with that, I know Toxam and the Crypto Avatars crew has been hanging out. We got to jump into Hyperfi links. Whoever wants to hop on the mic from the Crypto Avatars team, unmute and take it away.
Hey, can you hear me, guys?
Yes, there we go.
All right, awesome. Glad to be here after so much time, guys. All right, so I'm waiting for you on the Crypto Avatar slate in the Hyperfi. We are going to be having a launch in like hopefully 9 minutes, maybe a bit more, launches are hard as fuck. So today we're going to be launching a lot of stuff. We've been working our asses in a lot in the last few months to, to improve the platform, to improve a lot of things that people have been asking for. Like we've been improving Unity SDK, we've improving the website. There's going to be an improvement also on the viewer, and also we've been implementing and working with profile picture collections like the Omnimorphs. These guys have had profile picture, a 10,000 profile picture collection, and we help them create the BRM version of each of those avatars. And now we are going to be able to use them also in as many places you can use any crypto. If you go inside, you will be seeing a billing, which is also like it's an experimental billing on Hyperfi. We've been we are very deep into interoperability ourselves. So we've been developing the billing in Decentraland first, and then we've been working on, see if we can take the billing from Decentraland into different metaverses and see how we can break them from that, right? And what you're seeing is the WIP version of the crypto avatar slate, just not copy and paste from Decentraland, but very similar to it. I'm not sure if you guys are new to Hyperfy, but you can change your avatar. If you have a BRM avatar at your hand, I can provide you one in the chat right now. 1 second. Yeah. How to third person? Just scroll out, and you will be able to use it. Just if you get the VRM from the chat, you can drop it directly in Hyperfy, and you can change your outfit, and it will change to this Snowy guy. This is part of our crypto avatars collection. It's totally free to use because it's open source, and I mean you can use it pretty much everywhere you want. So one of the things that we are going to be improving for this launch, I'm not sure how familiar are you with crypto avatars, but for now, you've been needing to be approved to be able to mint in crypto avatars, and that is going to be changing today. Anybody will be able to mint a BRM avatar right away. There's not going to be any onboarding system on it. We are going to keep the onboarding system just for verified people, like verified collectors who will be able to create more detailed stuff, and then pretty much everybody will be able to mint a BRM if they want to. Obviously, if you mint like full stuff, probably you will be removed from the platform. So try not to upload as many leaks as possible. Also, one of the things that we've been developing is the SDK or the Unity SDK, and since we've been having hard time to be finding somebody to test this with, we decided to just release our own thing so you can use the SDK. And the thing we made is called Crypto Avatar. It's called Avatar Webcam. And paste in the chat the link into the chat. So with Avatar Webcam, it's a free software that you can download on Windows. Once you install it, you will be able to use your crypto avatar or any VRM avatars directly into any conversation in Discord, Google Meet, Zoom, Hangouts, and pretty much everywhere where you can use it and swap your camera. And you don't need any extra software. So you don't need OBS to set up. You don't need anything like streamable. Just open it, and you will be able to log with your crypto avatars account. But you will be also able to load any VRM avatar that you have in your computer. So it's completely free. You can use it wherever you want. You don't need any other software required to stream it. And this is one of the things that we've been playing a lot. Like we've been using B2B tools for a long time, but it was a pain in the ass to have like OBS set up, also download it. Probably the B2B software was in Japanese, so it was also a pain in the ass to understand it. But now you can use it. Hopefully, guys, you get ahead of it, and you can jump into the next job interview as a cool banana. Maybe you get a job. If you want to change your BRM Hyperfy, just drop another BRM. All right. What else? What else do I have here? One of the things that I wish the website was deployed already because the team is it's finally working. But with the new website, what you will be getting is a new visualizer for your avatars. Avatars are going to be also having like 3D backgrounds. There is going to be, again, this free-for-all collection that everybody is going to be able to mint BRMs. Hopefully, people doesn't upload stuff very hurtful. And I think this is it. I mean, sounds like just a few stuff, but has been getting like months and months and months to build it.
No, we can definitely feel that. And I think there may be a limit on the number of folks that can enter this Hyperfy build. So I saw everything. I just jumped out in case anyone else is in a queue. Try to click the link and get back in there. And I know there's some questions. Just want to shout you out, Toxam, someone that's been building nonstop for years and years and years, head and direction, always in the right place. And like what Sho was saying earlier, you're just like one of all of our favorite builders in the space, like out of everyone that's doing their thing. Jesse, of course, is up there. But yeah, I just want to shout you out for everything that you've been doing. And with that, I'll pass the mic to Sho to hit you with some questions, hopefully softly.
Yeah, seriously. It's not just lip service. Like Toxam is literally one of my top 3 favorite builders in the space because he always just seems to be so in tune with everything that's going on. Speaking of being in tune, Toxam, would you say that Sorry, let me make sure. Hyperfly. I was gonna say Hyperfly. I don't know because it just sounds it sounds like cool in my head. But Hyperfly, would you say that Hyperfly was born from your frustration with platforms like Decentraland limiting you?
Uh, Not really. I mean, the thing is that uh, we have Polygon in mind, right? And mainly provide services for people who want to get on board in the metaverse, like brands and companies. And we've been getting a lot of people traction in Decentraland and also in Sandbox, but for some buildings and for some people didn't feel right. Also, we are not agnostic, so the more platforms we can test with, the more we are going to be testing, right? It's not just Hypervi. We've been testing also Monaverse, Spatial, Webaverse, and it's not just Hypervi. It's everything that we can see and see if how. The thing is, we've been testing the limitations, right? Because, for example, Hyperfi is very limited right now. Doesn't have as much things as Decentraland would have with interactions, but you have different stuff, right? You can upload more content into just one place. It is way cheaper. That's one thing. But it's more about finding, since we're touching all these different platforms, it's more about touching and seeing how we can, how we can build everywhere and probably copy paste all the buildings. It's an experimental thing rather than just say it in centralized.
That's cool. Oh, we also have a question from Paradox. They would like to know: is there an iCultist or an iCult crypto avatar?
Yes, there are various. From the second round of the 100 avatars, there are a couple of followers. I think they could call it. There's also like a warrior. So there are a few already.
That's cool. And lastly, what's your overall goal? What are you trying to achieve with Hyperfi?
With Hyperfi, I don't know. Just building in Hyperfi. Just to be clear, I didn't build Hyperfi. Just in
Okay.
case.
Okay. so I guess with
I build
the
the place. I build the place, but not the platform.
okay, all right. So let's change that with I guess crypto avatars. What's your goal?
I mean, the goal is to be able to, so anybody can create BRMs and we be able to transpolate it to as many places as possible. Think about Ready Player Me getting as many integrations, but instead of with wacky avatars that they looked all the same, getting BRMs made by people, also create tools for the artists so they don't have to be, having this hassle of creating a BRM, because right now it's a really difficult process, and we are making tools to make it more easy, and you don't have to be a super skillful person to create an avatar. That's something that will come early next year.
I don't know if like everyone got rugged simultaneously, but this is like probably the perfect place to transition. Big shout out to everyone involved in all of this. The Aavegotchi team. I mean, this is like a list of like all-star Web3 builders in the house tonight. On top of all the people in the audience who are a bunch of all-star builders themselves. in here. So this whole production has been awesome today, and really appreciate it. I know Toxam's in the middle of like a really stressful launch, so to be like hopping on here and filling us in on everything he's cooking up is extremely appreciated, man. I know you're busy right now.
I just one thing I want to say.
Yeah, dude.
We are going to be doing an event in Decentraland in a few minutes. So if anybody wants to hop in, we will also be explaining more about crypto avatars in there. And also, there's going to be free wearables.
Dude, make sure you drop a link. What we're going to do right now, we actually have some free wearables up for grabs right this second. So while we kick the mic over to show for the Afties, we're going to hop over to Fabiano and Patrizia's spot where they've got a wearable for us to claim, as well as Sandy Meows. It's going to work the same as these claims have in the past, where they're essentially free claims on OpenSea. You'll have to pay a Matic transaction. So if you can't get that for some reason, let us know and we'll make sure you get one of these. But claim the free Fabiano. I'm sorry, it's in Fabiano's plot. It's his wife Patrizia's wearable that we're claiming today, the Gingerbread Man, and also Sandy Meows's ugly meowy Christmas sweater. So claim both of those. If Matic gas is crazy, hold your breath for 5 minutes and try again. And then hop over to Toxam's spot for more awesome, cool, free stuff and to see how their thing turns out. Hopefully all goes well, man. I know how everything goes in Web3, and even if everything's lined up, it has the potential to be catastrophic and break. So certainly wish you luck with your drop and everything. Fabiano is waiting for us. So let's hop over there. And if Dragonate's ready to kick off the music, we can pass it over to show for the Afties while we're claiming all the things. Oh no, is Dragonate rugged? Dragonate's got to sing, or his mom's got to sing.
Is this thing on?
It's time for the Afties. Hot takes, opinions, thoughts. Let's go.
Hey, what's up, y'all? What's up, WIP fam? Check this out. Please mute your microphones if you can. Thank you so much. Hey, how many people have an ENS? Raise your hand. If you have an ENS, if you have an ENS, raise your hand right now. WIP fam, the reason why I'm asking is because of identity. Identity is a motherfucker. And I'm seeing all these faces and names, and I'm seeing all these hands raised, and even those who don't have them. What I'm going to tell you may inspire you, or may provide information, or may just give you some insight. You don't realize how much it matters when it comes to identity, because you think you always have it. You know, it's yours, right? Until you don't. 2 years ago, I wanted to claim my real name on Twitter, like my actual name, my first name specifically, since it was being used as a bot account 12 years ago and went completely inactive. So I was like, this shit is being wasted. Why don't you just give it to me, you know? And I wanted it, you know, kind of like as like a light flex for my acting career, because the only other people with my name with more of a following weren't as dope as me. I'm just gonna fucking be honest. You know, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit, right? They weren't as dope. So I won't give me my shit, right? That's what I was thinking. So anyway, I tried to message the account, you know, and after 1 week, I didn't get a response. And I was like, okay, I'll try again, and still no response in DM. So once I was sure that this account was being used by someone as like a throwaway account, I said, fuck it, and did what everyone else does. I snitched. I fucking snitched. I reported it for impersonation. Said this account is impersonating me because I'm a person. So I went to Twitter support and whatever they do, I filled out this report and spell checked everything because I wanted to be respected as a grown up. I like to spell check and cross my T's and dot my I's. I want you to respect my grown upness. And personally, I write amazing, angry emails. If anyone wants my services, thank you. And I press send. I sent it out into the Twitter administration sphere of influence that they had at the time, because it's now destroyed. But that's besides the point. I sent it out, and the responses I was given weren't adequate enough for me. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to turn up the pressure. And I turned up the pressure as if I were defending myself in a court of law. They were passive aggressive as fuck. And it eventually got to the point where, under normal circumstances, the defunct single name / single word account would have been mine. But I caught Twitter with their pants down. And ultimately, I also noticed that the verification process was a trap. They wrote themselves and painted themselves into a corner of bullshit. And once they had no place else to run, I saw the truth. They don't release names or anything at all in order to avoid liability, legal liability. Even if you are right, even if you're correct, it takes an entire department to agree on something very small, which is why they were charging people for verification badges, which is what we learned last week. You're probably wondering what the hell this has to do with the WIP, what the hell this has to do with Web3. Trust me, I'm getting there. It's a slow build. So anyway, after my last response to them, absolutely and unequivocally demanding that they relinquish all rights to that Twitter name to me, because I'm using big words forcefully in this angry email that I wrote, they used the ultimate and final and unequivocal weapon that you can use in the passive-aggressive world. They used a big fucking atom bomb on me. You want to know what that is? They used silence. They ghosted me. They left me on red. And I waited. I waited for a while, then sent an angry tweet to a random Twitter support account live on my Twitter account, and nothing. I got nothing. And suddenly, my tweets took an engagement hit. Not saying that Twitter shadow bans people, but hey, you can take a look at the new Twitter files expose that happened last week, and you tell me if I'm telling the truth. Now, again, you're probably like, what the fuck does this have to do with the WIP? What the fuck does this have to do with what we're talking about? What does this have to do with Aavegotchi? What does this have to do with HyperFi and crypto avatars? Look, at this time, I was wasting all this time on trying to get this name on Twitter, right? At the same time, Ethereum name service was still very underground. I just bought my real name as my first name for literal pennies. Pennies on the dollar. And I waited to pair it with my Twitter handle so it looks slick as fuck. That's the whole reason why I went to them. But I made a crucial mistake. This was in hindsight, I'm like, yeah, fucking shit. I made a big mistake. I'm a non. I'm a degen and I'm a non. Just like all of you in the voice channel right now. And I abide by the anon ethos. But for most of the time in this space, I was one of the few people who actively wasn't as anon as the average degen. I think it sort of empowered people to see my face, or, it was unusual. But at the same time, I guess I maintained that visibility due to my personal career as a performer. So as an Anon, with a name and moniker that was built up in Web3, I didn't realize how much of my identity was being aligned with my DGen persona. So even though I was rejected by Twitter for them not giving me my real first name or my DGen identity, I still didn't fully believe that the same weight of a Twitter name, plus with a verification badge, would soon be on the same level as having an ENS name itself. I thought people would be too stupid to read ENS names as like .eth. So I thought that they would ignore the punctuation, because most people fucking ignore punctuation, and they would have read it as like eth, you know, like putting an like eth on the ends of whatever name or word that you're using. I didn't anticipate that, along with the growth and adoption of DGen ideals and philosophy within the space, that ENS names would be the go-to for differentiating between someone of the space and someone who isn't. Since I was so early in the space, I saw that my DGen identity was available for purchase a long time ago, but refrained from buying because of what I just said about not realizing how big it would get and if normies would understand it. So to be fucking honest, I didn't pull the trigger for months. And then last year in August 2021, during the roller coaster that was DeFi Summer 2.0, I decided it was time to truly adopt my identity on crypto Twitter, even though I had been living it healthily on all other platforms in the world. On platforms like Aavegotchi and HyperFi, my ENS name was Avail. But there was a problem. The gas fees were at an all-time high, if you remember. Mylene just mentioned something about Matic gas fees. She's having her own issues. I don't know what the fuck is going on the layer 2, but that's her issue, right? But if you remember last year, gas fees were astronomical. And you really had to penny pinch and really think about the worth of something that you're aping into. And even though I had the funds, I'm really conservative when it comes to trades. Strategic. I was strategic when it came to me being conservative about what I was acquiring. Even if, in hindsight, I'm like, shit, this is something that you do what you got to do, right? I just couldn't justify pulling the trigger. And on top of it, when you register a name on ENS, the gas fees seem to be out of this world. Specifically, it's as if it's pumped up by Makoto on purpose in the contract. I don't know what it is, but it's they drain you. And I didn't want to spend more in gas fees than for the actual name itself, which is what was the reality of the situation. So I sat back and rolled my eyes and told myself that I would wait a few days after a live DJ set in the metaverse that I was preparing for and try again. 2 days go by and my DJ set was finished. My DJ set finished a few hours beforehand. And I was like, okay, I have some time. You know, I'll have a little shit shower and shave like the average young gentleman in Web3. You shitty motherfuckers. You know, I'll eat a little sandwich and drink some Voss water. Like you water drinking motherfuckers. You know? And I clicked over the Ethereum name service and decided that I'm going to pull the trigger now. Fuck it, you know? And then I see that someone else literally just registered my name earlier that day. And instead of fuck it, instead of a shit shower and shave in Voss water and that good feeling, it was more like fuck me. Slowly, a wave of dread crept over me. It was as if my subconscious was telling me who the fuck I am in the moment. Because of the weight and respect of the ENS name now in the space, along with the power of blue chip NFTs as PFPs, my subconscious was telling me that your ENS name is more than a vanity plate. People understood that it wasn't just .eth. I mean, it wasn't it wasn't just F at the name of everything. My subconscious was telling me that all of your hustle, all of your notoriety and relationships, all of your sauce is tied into your name and identity in the space. It's different than the days where random scammers would impersonate you on Discord or anywhere else. Shout out to my homies here who were impersonated. Trust me, we had to, we were doing our due diligence to get those motherfuckers out of here so our friends could feel safe and secure. You can literally count on your friends and family in the space to immediately send out the bat signal that the imposter is full of shit and not the real person and block them. But if someone has your ENS and then adopts your name publicly, and then starts talking in servers and buying shit, and then has a blue chip PFP, and people mistake them for you, it slowly becomes an issue. I lost my ENS name to a random person who was buying up Japanese names on a whim. I lost my ENS name because the gas fees were too fucking high. I tried to make an anonymous bid on the name once I realized I lost it and panicked, and then realized that I had tipped my hand to them. It let them know, oh, people want this? Oh, no, fuck that. This is valuable. Not only did they reject the offer, they changed their name on OpenSea and other places to my name to reflect the new ENS. I felt outplayed on the chessboard. So when I would visit random platforms and suddenly see my name around, all sorts of thoughts would go into my head. I would roll my eyes and wave it off and say, fuck it, man. It's just some fucking whatever the fuck. I'm still myself. I would grit my teeth. I would curse under my breath. I tried to be a bigger person about it, but I didn't realize how much I cared. I didn't realize that it mattered until it mattered. Like everybody else, I'm like, but people know me, right? Like people, but then when you realize, like, oh shit, this isn't something as reversible as someone impersonating you on Discord and taking your PFP, and then you getting that person blocked or they lose interest in the scam. This had a longer thing where you had to contemplate whether or not you want to change your own identity that you worked on, that you did things as. In the real world, if someone attempted to copy me in social circles that I'm in, I would have been able to deal with it due to the amount of respect that I have within them. You have respect here, but it's not on the blockchain. It's not immutable. In Web3, it's only a reflection of things I couldn't completely control. My own PFP that I hadn't changed in years because it was part of my first collection of NFTs that I created and seemed to strike a chord with people eerily in this space, seemed to be the only other thing to differentiate me from the other person. It's not a blue chip NFT, but it's the thing that people recognize. It's not, look, this isn't my ego on display here. I'm not just talking because I need to vent. Again, this is about identity, and we're focusing on that. This is me walking through a journey that I wanted to share because identity is important as fuck in the crypto space. You've seen it be weaponized and used for all kinds of things. Hell, now everybody knows what SBF and Gensler and Yellen and 3AC and A16Z all mean and represent. These are all identities, either of massive entities or singular individuals. But most importantly, they could be a non in the space in different capacities. Some are enemies to the space. Some are propping it up and they're using the space as their exit liquidity. But identity, ENS knows the power of identity too, because they literally added a temporary premium on valuable names in the upper hundreds of ETH. I mean, not dollars. I'm talking hundreds of ETH on a Dutch auction sliding scale. They started this shit, I kid you fucking not. It was 19,000 ETH. And then it slid down each day by some random algorithmic percentage to stop people from squatting on the name and swiping it the moment it became released. I spent weeks sitting at my screen and refreshing it because the imposter cosplaying with my name somehow allowed its renewal to expire, which hurt me even more because the price went up. once the ENS airdrop occurred last winter, and people were like, "Oh, this is the new domain rush." The value of the ENS went up. 3-letter names went up. So Makoto said, "Hey, you know what? You guys really want this? We're gonna get paid off of this," and made it worse and harder for me to get something that I was like, "Come on, you know." So I said, "You know what?" The DJ in me was like, "Never say die, motherfucker." The DJ in me, the DJ like all of you in this voice channel, right? Who and all of you have this in you because you're here, and I know it. The DJ in me was like, "Never say die." I sat there like a hawk, watching, waiting, my fangs bared, determined. The hunt was on, and the hunt was emotionally grueling. This thing that doesn't mean shit became something. I thought I was better than this shit. You think you're better than this. But I'm a DJ and a sniper. And currently, I might be known to some and a non to many. But one thing I can't say is I finally have my name back. I finally have my name back. Welcome to the Afties, y'all. I'm your host. I'm your host, Show. You already know. I know that was a lot of words. A lot of time just passed by. I just wanted to leave you with that. It's not about me, right? This isn't me gloating and like bragging, like, "Oh my God, Karen, give a shit." It was just something that blindsided me because, about a year and a half ago, we had NAFTIs where the opening monologue was about identity in the space, and then Vignesh of Metapurse and the like, he went on to talk about that. Shout out to my homie Troubadour, because Troubadour was there and he wrote something about it, and then Vignesh later on regurgitated it and tried to reform it and rephrase it as his own thing, which was hilarious but true though. Identity is big because currently there are politicians in America who are trying to take your identity from you. Elizabeth Warren just submitted a bill where she's looking to remove privacy, so your own self-sovereignty. And privacy, your anonymity in this space, is tied to your identity. And me knowing that but not really putting it into practice made me realize how important it is. Again, this I just spoke for a long period of time. I would have opened up the microphones, but we had an awesome set of presenters. So shout out to our presenters. They gave some great and incredible things. And it was great. I just want to leave with that impact there. Shout out to the entire leadership team here at meme.com. Shout out to the WIP crew. I love each and every single one of you. Last but not least, WIP fam, I love you all. Take what you can from what was just given to you. Take what you can. You hop in and out of Twitter spaces all the time with people who are not as eloquent as the presenters who were here, who have less shit to give. You come to the WIP. Tell people about the WIP. Tell people that they can interact more with just sitting in a fucking fake ass clubhouse version of Twitter where they have to raise their hand to speak. You have a little bit more power here. Instead, I'll just unserver mute you instead of server muting you because you have an open mic. You know what I'm saying? So, much love, y'all, and I'll see you later.
You and I don't care to know you. I don't know you, and I don't care to know you.
I was worried
Yes,
because
yes, what do you want, Rose?
because I went to do my usual thing of just going, oh Elmer, and I completely punched you in the arm, and I'm
You
so
did?
sorry. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Elmo has like a delayed reaction. Oh!
Oh my god.
Elmo's gonna sue.